Welcome to another edition of Talk City Greensboro, produced by GTN, featuring interviews and events happening around town. It's an easy way to stay in the know while you're on the go. Subscribe to Talk City on iTunes, Pandora, or SoundCloud so you can keep up with what is going on in Greensboro city government and beyond. Hosting duties today fall on me, Rodney Dawson. I'm glad to be here. And as always, I have a great guest to keep me company. And today we're going to jump right in and we're talking about the People's Market, a nighttime farmers market hosted at the Glenwood Church that the city of Greensboro now owns. I just learned that. And they're celebrating 10 years in existence, and they operate on Thursdays, bringing access to healthy foods in what we call a food desert. And we all know Greensboro's in the top 10, along with High Point, as far as food deserts in the nation. So it's much needed. Shantae Woody is here.
Yes.
She's been working the People's Market you started it, right?
I actually didn't start. I actually started out as one of the vendors.
Okay.
The People's Market started in 2015 by the neighbors for the neighborhood. As you stated earlier, the Glenwood neighborhood was considered a food desert, and also neighbors wanted a way to just communicate and keep up with one another. And there was some local talent in the neighborhood. So neighbors got together on a random Thursday evening. At first, it was on a Tuesday evening, and then they switched to Thursdays. And bought and sold from each other. So if you made jams, jellies, crocheted items, the motto was handmade, homemade, and homegrown. So if you had a vegetable garden in your backyard, or you had chickens because some neighbors did and wanted to sell eggs, they came together in
Come in handy now.
Yes, absolutely. So they came together in a vacant parking lot on Grove Street and bought and sold from one another, and did that for a few years. And that's how the People's Market began. And then in 2018, we formed a nonprofit with the Corner Farmers Market, Neighborhood Markets, Inc. And that's how it became a nonprofit organization.
Great stuff. Just people sitting around trying to fulfill a need.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yes. It's economic development at its finest.
Yeah, it just shows you the strength in people.
Absolutely.
So, my next question was, tell us what the People's Market is about. And you kind of went over that, gave us the history of it, very concise too, and I appreciate that. Do you know this is a question that's not on paper. Do you know the clinical definition of a food desert? Can you explain to our audience that? If not, don't worry about it.
No, yeah. So a food desert is really mainly a place where you don't have access to food. So we do know that there is a grocery store maybe a few miles up the road, but maybe the people in that neighborhood don't have a car or a vehicle to get to that grocery store. So that's why it's important to have markets like these in neighborhoods where you have access in walking distance, where there may be single parents or elderly people that can get to the food quickly. And as we know, there are a lot of dollar stores in our neighborhoods that carry food, but those items may not be the healthiest choices.
Right.
So yes, that's what a food desert is considered. And I know there is a little bit more that goes into it, but this is my idea of a food desert.
We actually did some work last year with Dr. Deborah Barnes on food disparity.
Yes.
And I can't remember the definition that she gave, but what I think I'll do is just look it up, and I'll have this on the YouTube when it'll be the clinical definition for it. But I believe it has something to do with like a mile radius.
Yeah,
you don't have access within a mile, and some people can't, you can't walk. And but it's terrible. So I'm glad we're here doing something about it. And the People's Market started this long time ago, back in 2015, you said.
Absolutely.
So what's coming up?
Man, what is coming up? So our market operates seasonally. We start in April and we usually end in August, and we are every Thursday evening, from 5 to 8 p.m. So we're like a night market, an open air market. And during that time, you have vendors set up to sell their products. Like I said earlier, it's handmade, homemade, and homegrown. So you can find anything from homemade soaps to desserts, lemonade, anything that you can think of that is handmade. And we also have arts and entertainment. We got a micro grant from the Arts Council of Greater Greensboro this year to bring arts and entertainment So we've had spoken word, we've had live band, we've had live painting, we've had sound bowl activities for meditation, for Mental Health Awareness Month. We just had a lot of just different activities every Thursday. The Parks and Rec Department also purchased some STEM products for a STEM camp this summer. So on June 26th, we will be having a STEM camp so kids can come out and test their math skills. And
What's the age group on that?
there is no age group. So children from 5 and above,
Okay.
I see the adults out there sometimes over about a space and trying to figure out how many marbles are in this cube. And so it's fun for everyone. And while parents are shopping and just gathering together, because the People's Market is more than just a night market and farmers market. It is a place where community can gather. So a lot of people say, the inflation is high and they may not have the funding to come out and spend it every week. But even if you don't, I encourage people to tell someone, to bring someone, because even with the arts and entertainment, you could come out and just have a seat on the lawn. We call it the yard.
Right.
And bring your blankets, bring your lawn chairs, and just participate in just community and being in fellowship with your community is really, really important, especially in these times that we're in. And I'm going to get into a little bit of our SNAP program because we do have the capability of taking SNAP benefits,
Okay.
and we double
Still
them.
can?
Yes,
Okay.
and we double them. So what that looks like is for our SNAP EBT customers, when they bring their cards to the People's Market, we double their dollars. If they take $20 off their EBT cards, we give them $40 to spend with our vendors. So that's how we keep the dollars circulating in our community.
You mentioned, let me ask you this. Where is Glenwood Church located?
So it is at 1417 Glenwood Avenue, and it's on the corner of Glenwood and Florida Street.
Glenwood and Florida. I know that well.
Yes.
I'll mention that later on. But a lot of great stuff you're doing. You talked about the grant that you got from the Arts Council. Great folks over there. But how do you acquire the funds to keep this going? Is it people, community supported, or what? Talk to us about that.
Yes. So we do look for grants, and right now the grants are slim. So we do we do need our community to support us. Right now we have a campaign for 25 in 2025. So we're looking to raise $25,000 in 2025 just to keep our operations going. We are celebrating 10 years this year, and this is just with community support and some grants, but this is really mainly community funded. Even the Green for Green Fund that I stated earlier with our SNAP program, that is also grant and community funded.
Okay. And if you give us a website, I mentioned earlier, we'll put it up for people to learn more information. They can go to this website to give or volunteer or whatever you may need. But tell me different ways we can stay connected with what you're going on. We know every Thursday.
Yes, every Thursday.
Depending on rain or shine.
So I play Mrs. Meteorologist every Thursday. And so for the past couple Thursdays, we had one last Thursday, but 2 Thursdays before that, we got rained out. So you just have to give or take. We always post it on our social media sites if we're going to cancel the market, but sometimes it rains earlier in the day and it's dry by the afternoon. But if there's like thunderstorms, we're going to cancel. But if it's a light drizzle, don't nobody mind getting wet. We still have customers that come out, and some of our artisans, they like, you know what, we're just going to take a chance. But yeah, we always post it if we're going to cancel.
Good news. Well, what's the social media you talked about?
So our Facebook is The People's Market, and our Instagram is The People's Market GSO.
The People's Market GSO.
Yes, and that's also our website, thepeoplesmarketgso.com. So.
All right. Hey, I'm going to get you out of here, but I'm going to ask you one more question because I don't think I asked you in the beginning. Briefly, like if you had 60 seconds or less, how did you find yourself doing this kind of work? Was it someone or something?
You said 60 seconds?
Yeah, just a synopsis. Was it someone something, or you saw a need?
Listen, he asked me at the tail end, you guys. Y'all going to have to stay tuned for the story. But yes, I found myself in this work is because the People's Market started in 2015. In 2016, I found myself underemployed and someone that was in poverty myself. I lived in Hampton Homes apartments, and I was just looking for a way out. And all I had was some ingredients. That's all I had was some ingredients. And my local church allowed me to use their kitchen to whip up some of my grandmother's recipes. And I visited to People's Market to sell my goods, and the rest is history. I literally started off as a vendor, just like the people that are coming every week. I have been a vendor, I have been a customer, and now I get to manage the market. And I also launched a program with our board called Side Hustle University. And Side Hustle University helps people just like me that wanted to go from side hustle to lucrative business.
Yeah, I saw that on the website. I said, who came up with this? I'm about to steal it.
You like that Side Hustle University. But yeah, we love to see our vendors flourish. We've had folks that came out with they just needed a shot. They just like, look, I'll whip up this hair cream in my kitchen, and now they're in Deep Roots. We have people that just bake cookies because they were depressed, and now they're in Deep Roots. Like we see them grow. You know, the yard is somewhere where you can come and you can grow. And then we got older ladies that's just like, you know what, I want a fixed income, but I need an extra little coin. And so they come out with their crochet items, or they come out with their fresh farm eggs, and they sell things, and they may be able to get their medicine. They may be able to buy their children some sneakers. Like, you are really, really doing a service to your community when you buy from our vendors at the People's Market.
And for those that don't know, Deep Roots has been in Greensboro forever.
Yes,
I guess you would call it a long time. It's an organic food store.
Yeah, it's a local co-op.
Okay.
So it's community owned as well. So, but they have shelves in their store, and they give local entrepreneurs a shot on their shelves. And so most folks, they go from just home based business to actually being able to get a shot in this local co-op. And I love that Deep Root support these local entrepreneurs and people of color.
All right.
Yeah.
Shantae Woody, the People's Market. You're next every Thursday night, beginning at what time?
5 p.m.
5 p.m. Little drizzle, don't worry about it.
Little drizzle, don't worry about it. Now, if it's raining, pouring down, you can just stay home and come next Thursday. All
right. And that's at Glenwood Church, 1417 Glenwood Avenue, on the corner of Glenwood and Florida in Greensboro.
Yes.
Anything I didn't ask you like to say really quick, Shantae?
No, I just want people to understand that just stay connected in your local economy, that this is how we keep the dollar circulating in our community, by supporting our local efforts. Mom and Pop's operations have been going on for the longest, and they're here to stay. So just stay plugged in what's going on in your local economy and support those efforts.
Shantae Woody from the People's Market, thank you for joining us here on Talk City.
Absolutely.
And our listeners and viewers out there, stay tuned in weekly by subscribing to Talk City Greensboro on iTunes, Pandora, and don't forget you can download Talk City from SoundCloud. That's it for this week. Thank you for tuning in to Talk City. Be sure to watch GTN, your official source for news and information about the city of Greensboro. GTN is available on Spectrum Channel 13, AT&T UVerse Channel 99, and Lumos 31. GTN also streams live on Roku and the city's website at greensboro-nc.gov.